Why does God care so much about diligence? Rarely do we think about if our time is causing us to live in sin. When you understand that the time that you have has only been given to you because God gave it to you, you then realize how important your time actually is. And I want to talk about Proverbs 12:24 that says this: "The hand of the diligent will rule, while the slothful will be put to forced labor." Diligence does not mean just work 24 hours a day and have no rest. In fact, God commands us to rest. He commands us to have a Sabbath, and even He took one. And using your time wisely to rest on a Sabbath is actually diligent, because we shouldn't be diligent to our work. We should be diligent in our pursuit of God. This topic can be very misconstrued and cause you to idolize your calling over the caller. We have all these business entrepreneurs and social media gurus telling us that we can't even rest. They say if money doesn't sleep, you can't sleep. Grind every day, wake up, post this, do that. And we can think that busyness is actually diligence, when in actuality that's just idolizing your status, performance, work, money, something, but it's not God, because that way of life is actually not what God called us to do at all. That's why Colossians 3 verses 23 and 24 say this: "Whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord and not for men, knowing that from the Lord you will receive the inheritance as your reward. You are serving the Lord Christ." Diligence is all about using your time in a productive way. So we have to understand the difference between diligence and busyness, because God gives us all the same 24 hours in a day. And I promise you that whatever He's called you to, there are enough hours in the day for you to actually see it through. And this is why God is so against laziness, because so many people didn't wake up today. So if you got time today, there is something that God needs you to do. And it's kind of a slap in the face to God if you're not using your time wisely. As I'm saying this message to you all, it's convicting me. Now more than ever, people are asking God, what is my calling? And so many people idolize their calling because they find their value and identity in it. Because when they're asked the question, what do? They want to give an answer that's impressive. And people are pursuing the calling over the caller, and they're not even sure what their calling is. So this video probably isn't where you thought it was going. It's not me yelling at you to get to work. It's me relaying a message to wake up to the fact that your calling is to pursue Jesus, and we should be diligent in that. And once we find contentment in pursuing Jesus, then He can put you in positions that He needs you to actually be the hands and feet of Christ. And that's why it's so important to be diligent in your walk with Jesus and not in your work, because that will never suffice. So I pray this video helps us understand the difference between busyness and diligence, and why God needs us to get our relationship with Him right first, and then everything that we're called to do second. God bless.